Good evening, SLites. So, here we are for the next session on demonetization and cyber safety. Before we start this session, let us look at few of the issues. One is that we hold the Cyber Security Week once a year, and that we make all SLites aware of the challenges in the cyber security, so that the environment and the companies become more strengthened towards the cyber security. You people are the first line of defense we have against any cyber threat. Any hacker, any malware, any wrong person, any fraudster can enter the system only and only if the first line of defense, that is you, fails somewhere. That is why it is important that you become aware of the various challenges, and not only the challenges, but how to deal with them. In that system, we already had one session on botnet, and we will continue to these sessions for next 5 days. Every day there will be different session. We have linked Mayakshi with the Sanskrit word, and this week we will be running and trying to map how the cyber security is linked with mythology, and mythology of Indian part, how that is linked to today's challenges of cyber security. While undertaking this exercise and research on the mapping of cyber security with the mythology, we ran into a particular challenge, and challenge we had that we could not find anything equivalent to ransomware. Now, let us understand what is ransomware, which we will discuss in any case on 20th much more in depth and detail, just of the basic part of it. Ransomware is where a hacker or a person or the entity with a bad intent put some encryption system on your hard disk, whether it is a hard disk of a laptop or hard disk of a server, and encrypt the complete data. It then tells you that if you want the data back, please pay this much amount. If you do not pay that much amount, your data will become a stone and not usable. Imagine a server or your computer, whatever is content of this data is perpetually taken away from you. You can imagine kind of problem you have. So, the ransomware discussion has come on 5th. The problem took place is we could not find its equivalent in mythology. We have a competition going that if you find out something which is equivalent in mythology, where your loved thing is taken away from you by the bad guy, and this will be given back to you only in case the demand, the ransom, the item, the bad guy wants from you. You are the owner of the thing which you love, which is lightly protected, and there is something which is of interest to the bad guy, which is strongly protected, because he cannot attack the strongly protected item, or he cannot extract the strongly protected item which he loved to have from you. He takes away something you love emotionally more and take away from you. When it takes away from you, you cannot and it forces you that the item will be returned only in case the strongly held thing is given to him. The equivalent mythology tale we have not able to find out. We request all of you to contribute towards and tell us the tale, so that we will share the tale on the 5th, that is on 20th of January, and of course, there is associated prize for everybody. Okay, let us start with today's presentation, demonetization and cyber safety. On 8th October 2016 at 8 p.m., that is October is also oct, which is sounds like 8. So, on 8/8/8, the Prime Minister of India decided that he will convert complete rupees 500 notes and 1000 rupee notes as useless piece of currency, and over a certain period of time they can just be processed and their value can be retrieved in other format, but not in the same form. One of the format recommended by the government for a overboard keeping the thing overboard is through transacting online or transacting through digital means. While transacting through digital mean is good, but it had its own challenges in terms of safety and security. So, in the next few minutes of 20-25 minutes, we will look at the issues, but what all other methods are available to us to transact in the digital format, and what are the associated challenges and how to deal with those challenges. We have a given fait accompli that we must transact as much as possible in the online format, and that is how this today's environment is. You will note that every day what we are doing is we are doing one very professional chap coming from outside and briefing you on the subject, which is of their day subject, and one subject we are taking which is as individual, which should be interesting to you, should interest you in day to day life. So, these two things are taken right now. Let us look at the demonetization concept. First and foremost, an extensive use method for transacting online is net banking, where you have the account which is causing the which is taking the information which is taking the information from you in terms of your password and username, is in terms of username, and does not know that this username resides in which format in the net. Okay, let us get it clear. No bank actually saves your password. Get this clear. No bank actually saves your password. It saves what is called hash value. The hash value is taken and kept. So, when you insert a password, its hash value is matched. This is because if the criminals take away the database from the bank where the so called password is stored, it cannot recover back the password. To do that, the hackers have done something different. What they have done, they have developed something called rainbow tables. In rainbow tables, they match each password with its hash value and try to extract. To overcome that, the bank has added a salt into it. Now, once the salt is added, a new set of hash value is created. Even if you give a shorter password, the longish password hash value actually gets stored, so that even the user uses simpler password, the complicated passwords get stored. Password hash value is stored. But what happens is the banks end up using the standardized salt, and the hackers manage to get the composition of salt and extract the value. So, this battle is continuously on. In the meantime, the banks under the RBI guideline have introduced the two-factor authentication. That means there has to be second method through which they validate this information to you, which is generally in terms of OTP, which comes on your mobile phone and or also on email. So, once you ask or transact online, the information is then sent, another added one time password which is life of about 3 minutes is sent to you on your mobile phone, which you have to enter and complete the transaction. On the completion of transaction, you get another email or SMS stating that this much amount has been transacted. While dealing with this, please ensure that the OTP you get should be of same value. The SMS will tell, do not only look at the OTP, also look at the value you are authorizing in this transaction. There are occasions when OTP is correct, but this value is changed. So, ensure that the value you have asked for that OTP for is matching with it before you enter the OTP. If it does not match, just come out of it. That means your system is getting compromised somewhere and something is amiss. Now, let us come to the next part. If you have not transacted and you get a SMS that something got transacted, it is better to know the contact number of your bank, where you immediately call up and tell them. So, each bank have, in Indian bank, have a contact point or contact phone number where you can immediately lodge a problem in case your password or thing is blocked. In addition, you can go to NetBank and disable it. Another thing you can do is, in case you are finding that has taken place and you are not able to do it, quickly enter wrong password in your net banking account 3 to 4 to 5 times. What will happen is, by doing that, your account will get blocked out. Now, next day morning you can go to the bank and tell them this is the problem, but in the end you will able to save the money. So net banking is easiest to all to handle, is one of the oldest mechanism of online transaction. It has vulnerabilities. In addition, there are phishing sites which will try to attract net banking component. Please ensure that you don't land up into the phishing site. To do that, the best trick is never click on a link to go to your bank account. Always type. It is always short words, never more than 10 alphabets, and you always know your bank name. It is always one out of bank name. Please type correctly. Don't commit an error in terms of last component. For example, idbi.com and idbi.in are right now held by the same entity, but it is possible that your bank may not hold all possible things. So they may be at pnb.in, but you are typing out pnb.com, which will be a phishing site. So need to be careful that what is the complete URL of your bank. Please always type, don't click and go to your bank account ever. Moving to next point, there is ATM and debit card. These cards are basically a magnetic strip is there, nowadays coming with a chip also. So this ATM debit cards are not used only for the transaction or extracting cash, hard cash, but also undertake the online shopping, as well as to undertake the POS setting, point of sale, where the person swipe your card and you enter the data. This is a good way of communicating, but there are two challenges. One, my advice is please avoid doing online shopping using debit card or ATM card. There is a reason to it. The debit card or ATM card, once debited and you find the transaction is fraudulent and money is taken out, it will be real challenge to get back that money, and as and when the bank identifies that it is a fraudulent, it will recover, but it can be very long time, and it is not the bank who is at receiving it, it is you who is at receiving it, it is your money is gone off. In credit card, the money of bank has gone off. So it is in bank interest to close this event or incident as quickly as possible. Generally they close within 3 months time. So it is preferable, better to use credit card for online transactions, and when you come to credit card, we will look at them slightly more in detail. So for the ATM and debit card, do POS and draw money. Now there is the challenges. Again, the bad people, what they have done is they have either put a POS readers, which is just in a POS machine they insert, where you moment you swipe, they completely read the script, magnetic script, and keep a copy, and then that copy is sold in the market. Second way of they doing it is when you enter the data on the net banking site or any other online site, they try to get this information through the phishing activity. Another method they extract this information is through the screen captures and the spy bot which is placed on your computer. If your computer is not updated with OS and antiviruses, it can have a spyware in it, and the spyware can trouble you and extract your sensitive information. If spyware is there on system, nobody, strongest of password cannot protect you. The spyware will get your password, will get your authentication mechanism in any case. No mechanism in the world can save you in case spyware is on your system. So please ensure you have a reasonably good quality anti-malware system which ensures that no spyware is placed on your computer or mobile phones. If it is there, then no security person can ever help you out. This will get, your password will get compromised. Look at the next issue, that is of credit card. Now credit cards today, as per RBI guideline, all new credit card perforce has to be issued with a chip, and they are far secure than your magnetic strip card. However, there is one challenge, that the lot of these chips are contactless also. If the chips are contactless, it is possible to read your chip data without coming in touch of you. That means you are standing in mall, a person can stand next to you and extract information from a chip. So, it is always better that if you keep this chip related card in a metal box. You see this boxes which are having your calling card or your visiting card containing the metal box. The metal box, in case a chip containing a contactless information is saved on your credit card, please ensure it is kept in the metal box all the time. If it is kept outside the metal box, a person can stand next to you and extract that information and use it or abuse it. Another thing while transacting on credit card, debit card, on ATM machines is ensure that when you are punching in your PIN number, nobody is watching it. It is always better to stand very close while entering the punching in the PIN. There are cases where high quality zoomed in camera is placed as far as 100 or 200 meter away from the ATM machine, zoomed onto the system. The magnetic strip is copied, but magnetic strip alone is not sufficient to extract the information. So, PIN is extracted through placing a zoom camera on to your ATM machine. Please ensure that the your system while entering your PIN, you stand as close as possible for you to the ATM machine, so that even the person standing close to you is not able to see properly. Never allow anybody else to use your ATM card. Always use yourself. Never give it to anybody else in any case. Very important, another part is this ATM pins of the debit card is critical. As we go forward, we will see in UPI, in ATM, in Beam, in many places this ATM pin is critical. So, ATM pin is going to be very crucial as we move forward. Credit card also have another problem, that in the back of the credit card you will find a number which is used called CVV code. Okay. This code is also critical and never to be shared. Now, what happens is, once you are operating with the vendor, online vendor like Amazon or any e-shopping, he is bounded by the Indian laws. So, perforce he has to use two-factor authentication. But moment you interact with somebody outside India, especially in US, the second factor authentication does not exist. So, he just takes your card number, your name, your date of expiry and CVV. Moment you enter CVV, it's complete the transaction. There is no second factor which will ever come to you. So, this is that's why CVV is becoming more and more critical, because the large money of transaction will ever take place in case the CVV is compromised from the foreign countries where RBI guidelines are not applicable. Though I wish that our government will work and force anybody, a MasterCard and Visa card people, that whether they are India or outside, if the Indians are using it, they enforce the second factor authentication, which is not there right now. Till that thing comes, you have to be careful while transacting the credit card or debit card onto foreign company. There is another solution available around it. For example, for a credit card or debit card, you can create a virtual card in a bank, or alternative still better is you buy a card like its card. You buy its card, which is a virtual card, which is a fixed value. Nobody can ever extract more money out of it beyond the particular card value which is there. So, always use a virtual credit card or debit card for online transaction. It will ensure, especially when transacting with the foreign entities where only CVV is required to be given, so that even if the CVV is compromised or something is compromised, you are safe and secure. I strongly recommend you use its cards for your online transaction outside India, and use credit card, debit card using while transacting in India. Now, this is interesting. When the new government came into power, the previous government was pushing it, but it never came to the light. But new government gave an additional push and created something called unstructured supplementary service data banking. The code is directly communicated with the server of telecom company. Okay, USSDs are not uncommon. USSDs are worldwide standards, which are followed across the world. It is not just Indian standard. It is standard as GSM standard, which is followed everybody. You must have heard that how to get your PIN number, how to get your SIM number. You enter star 111 hash, you get something. Star 06 hash, you get something. Like that, there is star 99 hash, means USSD code for banking. The banking codes are star 99 hash. Now, when that's happened, then one second. Okay, the government, when launched in 2014-15 NPCI, that launched by the government to provide at various mechanism to look and provide the online transaction. So, apparently and obviously it is clear that some people in the government were clear in their mind that at some stage they will bring in online transaction, and they have started creating the structure way back in very early stage. Immediately this government came into being. Immediately after that, the NPCI National Platform for was created to look at this structure. So, what all you can get from this USSD? You can get your balance inquiry, you can get your mini statement, you can fund transfer using IFSC code or account number or Aadhaar number. No, there are few challenges which are associated with it. First challenge, that USSD data is transferred between your mobile phone and the server in plain text. That means anybody who is listening in between your phone and the bank data can hear every information in plain text. That means how much money to whom you have transferred. It can be abused by the telecom operator, it can be abused by the wrong people in the government agency, it can be abused by anybody who is able to hack into the telecom network, or anybody who can create a false telephone network, which is called secondary network system, which he creates. He can extract this data. So, USSD has a vulnerability in terms of that the information is in plain text between the things. The advantage of USSD is you don't need a smartphone. In the very simple phone as shown on the screen, with nothing but phone and SMS can utilize the service of USSD. Anybody can transfer any amount. The limitation put is 1 lakh rupees per day in the USSD data banking structure. Let's look at e-wallet. E-wallets are banking sectors giving, non-banking sectors are giving. Paytm, Pocket, MobiKwik, PayU, PayU Money, PhonePe, like that. There are many e-wallet systems are there. There are two clear distinctions between them. One e-wallet is of bank and one e-wallet belongs to the non-banking sector. The non-banking sector can be charged through bank account, which we have discussed already, net banking, to the debit card, to the credit card, whereas the banking e-wallet can be charged only through your bank account. So, there is advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is it is seamless and the chances of compromise of the information is limited in case of the banking wallet, whereas non-banking wallet, the information is with a true entity. The advantage of non-banking sector is that in case your non-banking wallet is compromised, you will lose only the money which is kept in your non-banking wallet. Please remember, banking related wallet, we had an incident way back in 2015, if I remember correctly, in 15, where the Indian company was charged and few American people have stolen millions of dollars using e-wallet mechanisms, because e-wallet was not fully secured. They kept charging it to full value and taking the money out, charge it again, taking out the full value, and they took out large sum of money from people in few $1 million. Some of them got caught, but most are not, and very few amount of money got recovered out of it. However, e-wallet, if it is secured properly, it is a good option to go by. Your It's Cash also has got e-wallet, as well as the mechanism with the It's Cash is related to the virtual card mechanism also. So, it has got both versions available. Now, look at the unified payment interface. As I was telling you before, that we had the situation where we had a USSD environment. After USSD, the next thing which got created is unified payment interface. When we talk of banking, net banking, there is another way of payment in the net banking called NEFT and RTGS. NEFT is not instant transfer money. It transfers money after every 1 hour when the bank come together at NEFT platform and transact the money. The limits there vary bank to bank. It is 5 to 10 lakh rupees the upper limit, lower limits are generally not capped. Then the RTGS, where the transaction takes place almost instantly, but it is not for low denomination. That means the RTGS is for high value money, 2 lakhs and above is what the RTGS is meant for. The government, in the guidance of government, to be more precise, in the guidance of government, the banking sector got together under the National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, as I was talking earlier, and created a UPI, that Unified Payment Interface. Now, this was done under Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. So, act was made, but practically nothing moved thereafter, but now the UPI is there. And UPI, another good example of application under UPI was BHIM, which is launched personally by the Prime Minister. Interesting part of BHIM is that BHIM used 3-factor authentication, not even 2. It creates 3-factor authentication. So, it is far more secure, 1. Number 2, BHIM primarily uses encrypted communication between the banking server and your server. And best part of BHIM is that it charges no money for transaction. You can transact as low as 1 rupee, but upper limit is 10,000 rupees per transaction and 25,000 rupees per day. So, all your day-to-day needs can be met with using BHIM app. BHIM app has got 3 factors in it. Factor 1, the very application on your system when it get authenticated and got mapped to the bank where MMID got created. While creating MMID, I need to talk something called IMPLS. IMPLS was also a banking initiative where the transaction takes place instantly. But IMPLS also charges the money for your transaction. Certain amount of money is transacted. It is very small amount, much lesser in comparison to the credit card and debit card, though generally the merchant pays for credit card, debit card transaction, but some merchant insists that it is the consumer, if he wants to use the credit card or debit card, he pays the amount. So, BHIM uses a 3-factor authentication where I was. When you install a BHIM, it will get linked to one of your banking account where your phone number is linked. So, that you have to create a IPIN for that bank. So, your first is your bank account is linked to this application on board this particular phone. Number 2 is whenever the BHIM is interacting, it is validating again and again whether it is the same SIM as used. If you change the SIM, but BHIM is linked to particular phone number, the transaction won't go through. So, this is the second factor we have introduced, and third factor is the PIN, which is generated by you. Even if your mobile phone is compromised or taken away or stolen, the money still cannot be transacted because the PIN you have to enter. Despite all this, the few things you must remember in case you lose your mobile, which contains lot much information than the money, you must immediately do following things in case a mobile is compromised. 1. Inform your banking account and change your IPIN of the bank. If your bank IPIN is changed, then even if the BHIM and PIN is got compromised, the transaction will not go through. Second thing, inform the mobile operator and deactivate your SIM Moment SIM is deactivated, your second factor is gone off and money cannot be transacted. Third part, please change the passwords of all the accounts on your mobile phone. Your Gmail account, your office account, your many things are there on the mobile phone. Please change the your passwords from your all the accounts are there on the mobile phone, because mobile phone otherwise stores them, and use them seamlessly. To each app stores this password. So even if the user, even if the chap does not know how to use it, he can access it. In addition, there are services available where you can remotely delete the data. Please use it if possible. There are other services where basically mobile phone provider itself provide the services where they can remotely delete the data. Please exploit it where possible. Also, there are occasions when the mobile phone moment SIM is changed, it sends the message to 5 or 6 or 2 users that my SIM got changed. So please use those services. In addition, very important part of mobile phone security, because mobile getting used in that the platform, if the mobile phone itself is in state of compromise, as I said in the spyware, if mobile phone is state of compromise, then nothing will save you. Nothing will save you. So to do that, their antivirus comes, but more critical than that, please don't download application arbitrarily. Just keep downloading, and best you can do is buy a very cheap 2000, 4000 rupees smartphone which is available in the market, and use a banking system on that. You can do that. So put a banking system straight away on that, and no other application downloaded. Because I give you the example. All of you must have used WhatsApp. When you initially load your WhatsApp, so what WhatsApp does is, it says I sent an SMS on the mobile phone on which you are trying to register your WhatsApp, and after some time the SMS arrives. It is, you don't enter the code which is there in SMS, the WhatsApp on its own reads away your SMS and enter the code. Please remember, if WhatsApp can read that SMS, it can read any and every SMS which is coming to your system, including the OTP SMSs. Similarly, why only WhatsApp? Any application, if has that functionality built into it, has the ability to read your SMSs as and when they are required. So the OTP can be stolen through this means. If night 2 o'clock an SMS transaction is being made, OTP is sent, you are not going to get up at 2 o'clock and see that what SMS has come. You will get up in the morning. By that time, a lot of money from your account will be stolen. So it is preferable that you you use a different phone, or the advanced phones, the later version of Androids. The latest version of Androids have the ability to disable any application to read SMS. So you can go application by application and disable that functionality, that this is not read. By default also it is disabled in most of the phones, and most of the service providers are, most of the mobile phone providers by default ensure that this functionality is used, and such systems are not allowed to be compromised through this mechanism, and by default they disable it, and every time they want to use it, it is prompted to you to use it. If you use this kind of phone, you are safe, but if you are not using this kind of Android applications, latest Android applications, there will be challenges, and it is better to have a separate phone rather than a common phone for your financial transaction. Okay, then let's go to the now instead of application, there is a method of approach. There is called NFC, near field communication. In this kind the information between phone can be transacted by bringing two phones which want to transact close to each other, or a smart card which is with NFC chip built into it again can transact by bringing close to it, or it can use for any other purpose, for interaction, any interaction, including the financial transaction. So this is the new technology which is coming up. one way is that please keep, if you are using this kind of system which is just going to start in India some places, please keep your NFC off 99% of time until unless you specially want to use it. Reason is NFC information can be transacted while your phone is in your purse or in your pocket. The range of NFC is less than a meter. So, if it is within a meter, it comes, the information can be transacted between two phones where NFC is activated, though there are PIN mechanism and there are mechanism which are built in, but there is a way to get around it. The best way is, the best safety is, don't have NFC functionality except for undertaking the transaction if you are using NFC transaction mechanism or intend using NFC transaction mechanism. Next mechanism is for similar transaction, a QR code, which is used by many applications level, where you scan a QR code and the information is fed directly to your computer and you just enter the amount and the amount get transacted. This is very effective way of transacting the money, but the challenge become in that is that the QR code can be, another QR code can be pasted on top of the old QR code, which user may not realize. Please ensure when you scan the QR code, you will get the phone number and the name to whom you are transacting that money. If that name and number matches, then only undertake the transaction through QR code, otherwise do not undertake the transaction. Remember, the further part of transaction depend on the application which we have discussed already, or the approach we have discussed, that whether UPI, USSD or any or the smart, anything we use with the QR codes needs some security checks, basic checks. And that check that number which is written next to the QR code is matches with the data you get before you say press pay. That's all for the mechanism. There are many issues will come up, we will keep you updated. This website is going to be permanent, so I request all SLites to visit this website, not only for cyber security features. We are going to soon introduce after 20th Ekbhash page also, where all telephone related, Ekbhash related issues will also be covered. Thank you. Do we have some questions coming up? Yes. Yeah. Waiting for the questions. So, remember that online payments, what I want to say is that online, nothing to fear in online payment. The main thing is be safe, be secure the way it is. The money in your purse is safe as long as you care for it. If you don't care, the pickpocket will pick it in any case, even in front of your purse, let alone anywhere else. So, online transactions are not unsafe inherently. They become unsafe because the way we use it. Yeah, question please. Three questions? Okay. There are three questions. First is from Sandeep Pawar from Zealand. How can I understand whether my credit card is cloned or not? What step I need to take if it is cloned? Okay. If your credit card is cloned, technically speaking, you will not come to know, because you have made a mistake initial stage where you have not been careful while using your credit card. That means you gave a credit card in a hotel, the hotel chap takes it inside, prepares everything and tells and make the entry and don't look at the machine. But nowadays the RBI issued a guideline that PIN is mandatory. In case your credit card is not still linked to a PIN, please approach your bank to issue the card which is a PIN linked, or activate a PIN on your credit card. So, what happens is the person who is using that machine will be perforce has to bring the POS machine in front of you, and you will able to notice if there is something wrong with the POS machine or some additional attachment is there. Not easy to detect, let me tell you, not easy to detect, but there is a possibility you can detect it. If your card is cloned, let me tell you, you will not come to know. The first indication of your card getting cloned will be when you will have unauthorized transaction. 90% time such unauthorized transaction will be outside India, because where their CVV number is required. CVV number is also embedded in your magnetic strip. So the CVV number is also compromised. Then you will come to know this there. The only solution is then tell the bank, which I told, emergency number. Every bank has got emergency number. You can call up the emergency number and say block the transaction. And that's why I insist use credit card, because once you say there is a wrong entry, you can always fight it out by simple email transaction, and you don't have to pay any money. Only nominal rupee, 1 rupee they deduct. Some bank deduct 100 rupees, some bank deduct 1 rupee maximum, and that also come back to you in case the entry is fraudulent. However, moment your credit card is compromised, you will be requested to block out, temporary block out. The emergency site will tell you if they are blocked out temporarily, there will be no more transaction can be done. Now you have to go to your net banking site or visit your bank and permanently block that credit card and get a new card issued to yourself. That is the solution. Now from Kumar Das from EBX, what is the negotiating tactics and law prevailing in India around ransomware payments being done by any entity? But what I understand is that he wants to understand what law is there in case I, whose computer is compromised, have to pay the ransomware, ransom money to somebody. The law in this particular case is ditto same as you pay the ransom in live situation. There is because the IPC says very clearly, wherever there is no possibility of exact mapping, even the real world incident takes place in the virtual world can be taken under the existing Indian penal codes. So for the फिरौती की जो लॉ है IPC में, वही इसमें लागू होगा. फिरौती पे करने वाले को नॉर्मली कोई लीगल एक्शन नहीं हो सकता उसके अगेंस्ट. इट इज़ अ लॉस विच विल टेक प्लेस, बट द लॉस इज मोटिवेट्स the criminals to ask for more firauti. So he become indirectly abettor of crime, though legally cannot be charged with that action or abettor of crime, but it motivates. After every successful ransom, the person feels more motivated to extract more money from other people. Legally he cannot be. However, the person who committed a crime will be covered under the IPC, Indian Penal Code. IT Act right now does not cover, though there is a section 43 read with section 66 which gave the punishment of 3 years of imprisonment, which is bailable, which is useless piece of legislation for ransomware, can't be used effectively. If you remember, there was a time when the people approached the Supreme Court to take down section 66A, and Supreme Court has struck down section 66A. It does not mean that if somebody defame you on the net, that person cannot be charged. It just means that please use IPC to charge him rather than using IT Act to charge him. Similarly, in ransomware, you can charge him accordingly. Okay, next question. How safe is internet banking system in India? Okay, 1:9 scale in vis-a-vis world. I am not talking in absolute term. Vis-a-vis world, India's stand is at 9. Let me tell you, it is very strong internet banking mechanism in force in India, which is not there in most of the country, including US. Internet banking mechanism or online banking or transaction mechanism in India is legally and structurally are far secure. We have perforce by law two-factor authentication. Recently, government has said that transaction below 25,000, the user can opt out of two-factor authentication. But I recommend nobody should opt out even for 1 rupee from two-factor authentication, because two-factor authentication, understand on the nature of internet. Nature of internet is take out small amount from everybody. So he, instead of taking out just 100 rupees, 1 lakh rupees from your account, he takes out 100 rupees from 1 lakh people. If he takes out 100 rupees from 1 lakh people, none of the 1 lakh people will going to report to police. Police is not going to listen to it. In any case, 100 rupees, what has happened, what's wrong, there must be some transaction, you find out from bank tells nothing. So they go tip top, but the criminal has made clean 1 crore rupee in one shot. right? So the law of aggregation still not applicable in India. That is, if the same crime is committed, the class laws are still not there in India. India does not have a class law mechanism. That means a small crime repeatedly committed at many places will bring the class suit. There is no class suit right now in criminal side exists, only class suit exists on the civil side. Criminal side there is no class suits. That means a criminal keep committing small crime, and if not charged or police is not able to make an FIR or make one FIR, cannot use that FIR to say okay, he has committed 10 different crimes. Even if the 10 different people have not made a complaint or made a registered any information, we can sue, we can charge him under that law, or he can be punished under that law. Only that information can be used to strengthen the present case. We don't have class law mechanism in India, which I think become necessary day by day, as the small amount stolen from very large number will give criminal a very powerful situation. So as far as your question goes, let me assure you it is safe. Beam has been evaluated by me personally. It's looking good. It's looking good. But as we move forward, in any case, a new platform, new vulnerability may be found. Once again, Beam is on your mobile phone. If your mobile phone system is compromised, God save you. So please don't, like a naughty boy, downloading everything from the internet or your Google Store or unauthorized apps or even authorized apps, and what kind of information these apps takes away from your system, you have no clue. You have no clue, and that's the serious problem. So the problem lies more on the consumer awareness side. As far as structure, system, processes goes, I feel they're pretty strong. Anything else? Okay, there is one more question. Okay, not a question here. Okay, sir. Okay. We have few more activity on this website. If you see and look at the website, there are many activities there. There is one quiz. Please answer those quiz. Try to answer those questions. Though you can answer right away, if you know the answers, best is you answer closer to the last day, because we'll ensure that we have spoken about all the questions which are put in there by the last day. All of them will get covered at some stage or the other. If you're alert and conscious and hear us out carefully throughout this presentation, which is twice a day, you should be able to answer all the questions. There are prizes associated with it. Of course, in case of the two people are answering correct, then the person who answers first will get the prize. There's a good prize available to him, and that's it. Other than it, I request you again visit your live video every day, 12 to 1 and 4 to 5, and share information. Our itsec.help@slgroup.com email address is perpetual. Please log in your problem anytime. That includes even if you face a personal level problem, please feel free to contact us. My Ekbhash number is 0128711. You can call me up any point of time and contact me. Thank you.